This is why you don't do a podcast for a year. I tried. This is the last one I'm doing. When he edits this, he will see it. This is fucking over.
Let's not give it loud for Anthony Eugenio. We're having next time. Very funny. Wayne Russell, everybody.
Welcome to the Open Mic Pain with Anthony and Wayne podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to an Open Mic Pain with Anthony and Wayne. I haven't done a weird thing in a while. I've had a lot of people, so I want to do a weird thing. Suck my dick world. How you doing, Wayne?
Doing good. You going old school?
Yeah. So this is, we wanted to go old school because this is technically the episode we're going to celebrate 1 year in podcasting. Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats. Yeah, June 11th of 2023 was when we dropped our first podcast. So this is a little late, but it's for good reason. We've had some fucking fantastic guests, and we couldn't take a break for that. So
exactly. Bring on the guests because we are technically boring, and we learned that early, and that's why we do mostly guests now. So, fuck you guys. That's why we're here. Said suck my dick and fuck you within the first 2 minutes. That's how you know we're on a regular show talking to each other about 1 year. So what I would quickly like to reminisce on is I listened to a little bit of our first episode, and
you poor bastard.
It's a miracle. It's a miracle I'm alive right now. Yeah, it is. It's a miracle that I didn't just jump off my roof because that was horrible. We were very slow at talking. We're very slow at everything we did on it. I mean, we're not that much better now, but that's my main point, is we're not that much better. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I listened to those not too long ago for various reasons, but we don't say
masturbating.
Yep, I was masturbating to myself and to you, mostly to you.
Yeah. They know.
It's incredible how far we've come in terms, I think, of our comfort talking in this medium. Yeah,
they say when I first started thinking about doing a podcast, the one thing I was worried about is they go, oh, you forget what you say in the middle of it, and you have no idea, and you're worried. So, you got to really think about what you say. So definitely the first 10 episodes, I was thinking, this is going to be it. Now I don't give a shit. Fight me, world. I don't care. I'm just going to say what comes out of my brain, and you do forget what you say. But I think the one thing that you get with time is you stop caring about the forgetting. Like, I'm just like, yeah, I'm sure I said some wild shit. That's what we do.
Yeah, I've had people text me, be like, oh, I can't believe you told that story. I was like, what story were you talking about? And they're like, yeah, I was listening to this podcast with this person. And I was like, shit. So I have to go back and listen and then just be completely embarrassed by the fact that I said what I said. That's happened more than once.
Wow. Yeah, no, not. I think most times I get the passive aggressive. Like, there's definitely been comics who in the wild who have been like, oh, talking shit about this place, huh? And I'm like, yeah, mostly all of them, though. So I don't know how you can get mad at me when I'm pretty consistent and being a bitch to everyone.
Don't be shitty. We won't talk shit.
That's true. There is that. So we got some shows in July real quick. Want to pitch? One, because it's going to come out Monday, and Monday today in the world, where you are right now, I'm talking to you in the future, because I'm in the past. Right now it's definitely not Monday, but right now it's Monday. So because it's Monday, I love releasing a podcast a couple days later because it just feels like I'm talking to you in the future. Sorry, Wayne's like, what are you doing? So Monday,
you're just making my editing so much harder because I'm gonna cut out 45 seconds of verbal drool.
Yeah, but don't you get it? It's I told Wayne, I'm like, I'm gonna hit the volcano right before we start because I'm gonna have to be live for the podcast.
You're this close to like, we're recording now, which is the past, the future. You see.
I am the three-eyed raven. All right, so here's what I'm saying. Today, there's an open mic in Berlin, Massachusetts that I'm hosting. It is the 19 Carter Microtrobus mic. If you want to get a spot, I'm sure there's still spots. MikeKcomic@gmail.com. Secure your spot. Wayne will be there, right, Wayne?
Sure will.
Nice. So come see us there. Then on the 13th, I'm going to be at the Biergarten in Merrimack, New Hampshire. It's the Budweiser brewery where they got the big old horsies. I'm so fucking excited to see the big horses. They're going to have a hard time getting me to do my spot because, like...
You're going to be under the horses? Like...
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Yeah, I just gotta be massive, right? Like, it's gotta be...
Have you seen that, I think you should leave sketch about the horses?
No.
With the small dicks?
Small dick horse. I don't know.
Yeah,
nothing about those.
The idea behind it is they have a horse ranch where they breed them to have small dicks so you can feel better about yourself in front of your wife.
No, if you come on the July 13th to the beer garden, you're gonna feel your wife's gonna feel horrible about you if you see those Clydesdales. Holy shit, they could literally be used by Barry Bonds to hit home runs. Those fucking dicks. But anyways, so I'm gonna be there. Kyle Crawford headlining, so that's gonna be fun. And
Zach
then
Valencia there as well.
Zach Valencia, yeah, he's great. He's very hilarious. You know, you're gonna want to see him. So we got all. I think Kyle's older than me, and then I'm older than Zach, and then Zach's. So you got if you're a cougar out there, like, take your pick. Like, you can have whatever you like. All right. So then the 14th, that's the next day, baby, Sunday, Comedy Clash. South Shore Comedy Clash, Quincy, Fox and the Hound, Steve Sweeney Comedy Den. We're so pumped about this. Me and Wayne are going to fight to the death. And whoever wins... we'll move on to fight more to the death on August 3rd. We're pumped about that. A lot of great comedians on that lineup, right, Wayne?
Yeah, there's 11 of us, and the other 9 are absolute killers. So it'll be fun. If nothing else, it's going to be a nice day of comedy.
That's right. That's what a fucking loser would say. The other guy who already knows he's out.
I've already bowed out. I'm like, I'm good.
Wayne already bowed out. And then the 20th. I will be in the Comedy Mill in Biddeford, which is a fantastic open mic on Wednesdays, but the 20th is a Saturday because we're doing a show. I will be on the show, so come see the fucking show. That is the greatest mic in Maine. There's something going on at Wayne's house. Sounds like a dog is attacking another dog. Always. That's how. See, this hasn't happened since one of the first fucking episodes. That's how you know that this is an anniversary episode because it's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all. That's the dates, right? I mean,
you didn't say who you were opening for.
In what?
July 20th.
Oh yeah, not confirmed. So I don't know. I don't want to
okay.
confirm that one. The flyer hasn't come out yet. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
it's going to be fucking awesome. Whoever that is.
Yep. There's
and then August 10th. Sorry, real quick. Actually, I don't know. It's at Frog Brewing on August 10th, but I don't know what else to say about it. Maybe I'll talk about this one another time. So just go, if you're listening to us, go, that should be my show. Just because that's why I said it. All right, Wayne, what were you saying?
I was going to say also on July 13th, there's a 75% chance as of right now, I will also be in another contest.
Because this is the past. So by this Monday, today, right now, in the future.
I'll know in the future.
Yeah, if you're listening right now, Wayne knows if he's going to be there or not. But if you're listening right now, you have no idea because Wayne's only at 75%.
Yeah, so at Fall River, there's a comedy contest. I get invited to join. And even if I don't go, you guys should go check it out. Because they do these every once in a while, and they always sound like they have a great time. So good one to check out. Yeah,
limp ass handshake. Uzair Malik won it last time, right?
He did. I was trying to get on that one. I didn't.
Yeah, exactly. This is
trying to get some of that
cheddar,
that limp shake.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, he's well deserved. He's so funny. All right, yeah, that's all the plugs. Why? So that's why we try to make the plugs funny, so that's worth listening to. Because imagine if I just said the dates there, you guys would have already turned this off. Maybe you already did. Maybe I'm talking to the void. But I usually talk to the void because I'm in it all the time. Black darkness. So next, Wayne, let's talk about Elden Ring.
Rise now, ye tarnished, ye dead who yet live. The call of long-lost grace speaks to us all.
Yeah. I was going to stop you and go backwards, but yeah, let's talk about Elden Ring. I am so fucking pumped. I put 120 hours into Elden Ring when it came out, and I've waited and waited and waited for the DLC to come out. And a month ago, I restarted, ready to go, and I did not get to where I needed to be to hit the DLC.
Not even close.
Enter point. So I'm still having a blast. I'm another 20, 25 hours in on my new playthrough to get in. But it's such a goddamn good game.
Goddamn. So I might have said this before, but if I haven't, the best metaphor I've ever heard for playing a game like Dark Souls or Elden Ring is it's like trying to smash a ton of bricks using only your flaccid penis. That's exactly what it's like.
I thought you were going to say it was like being a Republican.
Why?
Remember the Burren? There was the female comic that said, "Oh, what's your favorite video game?" And you're like, "Dark Souls." And she goes, "Republican."
Yeah.
And you're like, "What?"
No, I love that because she was supposed to be a feature at the Burren. She wasn't on the contest or anything, so it wasn't like an amateur that accidentally just got tripped up. Like she walked into that crowd work and she was unprepared for it. What am I supposed did you have something if I said Super Mario? That's such a broad question. It'd be like saying what's your favorite movie? And they're like, the Joker, and you'd be like, I got nothing for that. Republican. What the fuck? Yeah. So we're trying to still do comedy, but Elden Ring's better than comedy by a lot. It's a masterpiece.
That's something I'll confirm. Yeah, I agree with that.
Fucking masterpiece. So all we want to do is spend our nights doing that. But we also need to write new material, right, Wayne?
Yeah, it was funny you mentioned that because I was in such a rut.
Such a rut.
And the last couple days, I've had a few premises that I've been really I've been going to town on my phone. It's not all great, but like the greats say, write every day. And I've been trying to write and add to stuff and work on it, and eventually distill it down to something that's good. But I was getting nervous because I went so long without having any ideas, and then all of a sudden I just had a flood of them.
Yeah, well, so we were getting for end of May into June, we were doing shows probably 3 out of 4 weekends or something like that, and we were, to be honest, not doing open mics because of it. I'm always going to Biddeford and going to that, so I'm going to open mics, but it's a little different for me because it's a nice community up there. It's only 30 minutes away. Yada. Wayne's got a lot less options, so it's a lot harder. So we got to commit a lot to go to open mics. Normally, we'll hit up a couple open mics in a week if we don't have a showcase or something going on. But because we had so much, we were just doing those. And this is a great thing to talk about, is you don't really write when you're doing showcases, and at least we don't. Because you're doing your proven shit. So, especially Wayne's been trying to do 15 minutes on a couple different platforms, so he's been building up to that. And so he's been doing all his, tried and true stuff. So, I think because of the name of our fucking podcast, we do have to highlight the importance of making sure that even if you're getting booked a lot, I think the open mics are still an essential piece of the pie.
Yeah, unless you're doing multiple regular shows a week and you're comfortable to the point where you can work out new stuff on stage like that.
It's tough because I feel like a club environment like Laugh Boston, Giggles, no, not even Giggles, I would say Nick's Comedy Stop more, are ones that on a Wednesday night they're going to have a show where the comics are going to be doing that, where they're going to be trying new shit. It's almost like their open mic. But then when they get to the weekend and they charge these $25 shows, is it okay to do that? I know it is because everybody does new shit at those kind of shows. But is it okay for us novices, me and you, to be fucking around on a show that people paid for? Here's some.
I think there's... Yeah, no, I think I have the answer to that. I think when you're a known comic, I think it's a little better. Or a little more well received because people know you've established yourself as somebody who is funny and a good joke writer. People like us, nobody knows who we are. There might be some open mic comics that know who we are that come to a show to support, or there might be friends or family that know. So if, they might know the jokes that we've done, and if we try something new, it's like, oh, okay. But I think to the general audience, if they don't know who you are and you're trying new things and it fails, it's just that they sucked.
Yep, exactly. And that's, for me, I hosted a million shows in a row, and then we had the comedy contest, and I couldn't do any material at that. So by the time I got to try a new joke, because I have written some premises I'm really excited about, there's nowhere to try it. So I did 15 minutes for the first time at a real show the other night, opening for Steve Bjork, and you hosted, which was such a great time. I love Steve. He's great. Goddamn guy is so much more talented than us. It's fucking annoying. I don't know, it's really, because it's, if people ask, like, what's the difference between our level and, like, a real professional level, I think it's just the command of the room more than anything else. Like, I used to think, I was like, their jokes are going to be way better and connected and all that, and true, maybe, but it's more, I think, just the ability to completely control a room. I don't have that yet. And I think that someone like Steve walks up there knowing he can do that, which gives you so much goddamn confidence. But anyways,
Go
ahead.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. And you finish, and I had a thought branching off that.
My finishing thought is that I did the first 15 minutes, and I decided, I am going to do a fucking new joke. I'm going to do a new joke I've never done before, because I believed in it enough, which was the It's Raining Men joke, we'll call it. And it hit the way I wanted to hit, so thank God. Because I also have a bit about evolution and about the words you can't say that I haven't tried that yet, but I don't know if I can do that at a real show the first time.
The thing I loved about that raining bit joke was when you said the punchline, it got nothing for a second, and I was like, "Oh man!" And then people started to catch it. Like it's a little bit of a thinker.
Yeah,
like you have to. It's not a long thinker. It's a 1-2, like put the puzzle together real quick, and then you get it. And it took them a second, and then once they did, all at the same time, just started bawling.
Yeah,
it was really good.
So yeah, that was really funny, because you're right. I was like, it didn't really. And then they started to pick up, and then the girl in the front row, she started laughing. She went, "Oh man, that's really good." I don't like that. I like laughing more than that. I wish I said that to her. Like, hey, thank you, but laugh instead of saying, I don't want to talk to you. But yeah, no, it's a nice little, you're not going to see where it's coming, and you haven't thought about the punchline, I don't think, before. It's a really original thought. Brought on by my wife, actually. So shout out to her. She was great on that one. But anyways, I might need to hammer in a punchline that makes it hit right away, but that's what we work on. Those are the new jokes. And then I got a evolution joke that will be very hard to do any other way. But I think we got a good angle at that, where there's a tricky way I'm trying to do a words you can't say joke, and I think revealing the word at the end of the joke rather than the middle is going to be the key to that one. I'll be teasing it the whole time. But yeah, no, excited about that, because if I get those in and those work, I believe I will have a very solid 15 minutes and the ability to do 20 minutes. I think it goes to that too, obviously, but that's the goal.
Yeah, I have some stuff that's been, that I've changed around just for the fact that there's been people that have seen me multiple times, and I'm like, they're paying to see me a couple times, friends and stuff, not whatever. I want to switch it up a little bit. And much to my joy, some of the things that I decided to switch it up with have worked really well in front of a real crowd. So yeah, those are going in my back pocket as things that I can pull out when needed, and stuff that I'm going to work on a little more deeply to polish a little more. But what I was going to say was, going back to Steve Bjork and watching him work, something that stuck with me was our talk with Al Gonacher, where he described telling a joke as, slowing down the interaction. So you could have like a 5-second interaction with somebody, and you can turn it into a 2 or 3 minute joke just by slowing it down, describing and talking about things in detail as it happens very slowly. And ever since we talked to him, I've looked at different comics like Steve. He has many jokes where he's just talking about a procedure or something, something that happened to him that it seems like he went on for like 15 minutes, and it was like a 5-minute interaction in real life. And is just so funny, just because of the little bits and pieces of the funny threads that he pulls on it, where he's takes something so mundane and just describes it in such a way that's hilarious.
It does. I think from watching him and Christine Hurley and all this stuff, I think it's like a cliche because you hear it a lot, but the power of the pause, I think, is something that's so hard to master when you're first getting started, that those guys are so good at. Where we would say something and get uncomfortable with the silence and move on, where if you just let it breathe a little bit before you say it, make it feel uncomfortable, it makes them laugh. Like, it's a great fucking tool. Christine Hurley uses it like fucking... She got 10 minutes pauses in an hour. It's fucking... They're hilarious, though. They all work and make sense. But, yeah, I saw Steve do that, too, where a part where I was like, oh, I would have completed that sentence to the punchline without a pause. He added the pause, and it was everything. So that's something to think about, too, is be comfortable. Timing is so big on comedy, and what that means is that you have to create suspense, and that's the only way a joke is hit, is if you create suspense before your punchline comes. If you create boredom, they're not going to care about the punchline. If you create anticipation that is way too high, that has no stakes, you're going to let them down on the punchline. So it's really an art of suspense building. And I think that the best people, like for me, my suspense building is all about misdirection. All I'm trying to do is do clever jokes that you don't know where they're going, and that's how I build attention to it. And that's fine, but there's only so much you can do of that, where I think Steve can do it with a pause, and that's a different animal. I'm getting too analytical, but I think I'm right.
No, I think you are. We've talked about my opening line, where I introduce myself and say my pronouns are he and him. My adjectives are fat and bald, and I've played around with different lengths of time waiting before I bring out the fat and bald part. And if I just go, my pronouns are he and him, my adjectives are fat and bald, it doesn't have the same effect as if I have a little bit of time in between where people are stewing on it, going, "Why is he telling me this?" Just having that little bit of time lets people think about it and decide which side of the fence they're on with, "Why are you telling me this?" and "Thank you for telling me this." And I think every joke has that a little bit.
Yeah, it does. And it depends on there are jokes that are built performance-wise, where a lot of the hit of them is just the overperforming of a simple idea. And those are great. My problem, I think, of timing is I have to realize that people... Like, I have a whole bit about the economics of assholes, and it's a long... I go into detail, and it all makes sense, and it all, if you think about it, will be a pun. And it's one of my favorite jokes that I have, because it's really silly, but it's really clever. It's got a lot of punnage in it and all that. And sometimes I feel like they're going to get it as soon as they hear it to me, when I should, again, pause, realize that they're going to have to realize I'm saying a pun in this, because I'm not telling them outright. You, by the middle of the joke, should know that I'm not talking actually about assholes. And so, it's really difficult to do that kind of joke, because our biggest problem, I think, is we do jokes so many times that they come off rehearsed, where you're just like, and here's the punchline, and to do it like you're doing it the first time, it means, when you're trying to push across a complicated concept, you normally slow it down for people. You normally emphasize the really important parts. Like, this is an important step for you to get what I'm saying. And that's kind of being really deliberate with your setup, putting the pauses in the right spot. That's the next steps, I think, for us. I think that's where we're at.
Yeah.
Going
that, I guess, talking next steps, not to stay with the theme of 1 year of the podcast or whatever, but we haven't done we did a 4 and 8 month. We haven't done I don't think we did a year checkup, and we're almost at a year and 4 months. But what do you think is your biggest improvement since we first started the podcast, because we're a couple months in that?
So you mean comedy? Yeah, for comedy.
Yeah, performance wise.
So I It's gonna drink your shot glasses. But a couple weeks ago, whatever the time frame was, months ago now, I took a private with Mike Katrobis. Wayne had a really good experience in his hosting class, so figured I'd give it a shot. There's a little bit of an epiphany that I had from talking to Mike, because he's done it for 30 years, where he just kind of explained that it's like having a conversation with somebody. Like, you have to, the best storytellers at your work bring confidence to the fucking water cooler, and they tell great stories. And those are the guys that are excited about the things that they're saying and giving enthusiasm. They're desperate when they're talking about a desperate thing. They're angry when they're talking about an angry thing. So I've been trying to really up my performance on stage. I think that when we first started the podcast, and I asked Justin George, he was really fucking thanks, Justin, you critical bitch, about me, about how I'd be monotone sometimes on a set and not put it through, and you fucking really let me know about that. And I worked on that really hard. So now I think when I have a performance, like the other night we had a show that was not a lot of people at it, and it was really tough, but I think I gave it like I was in a theater. Like, that's how I tried to do it. And I think it helped. It gave me the best performance I could have had in there. How about you?
I would agree with that. Yeah, the performing to the people that are there. So we talked about privately on the way down to that show, actually, with Steve Bjork, where we talked about, I think it was Steve Bjork said to Jacques Lambert that, don't, if you have a small turnout for a show, don't be mad at the people that showed up. Give them the show that they paid to see. Whether there's 6 people or 60, give them the show. And for one, Steve friggin' did that.
And
but 2, I took that to heart. I did my best to do that as well, and I saw you do that as well. And I think that's something that we've done really well at. I've caught myself being salty at open mics, for instance, not so much actual shows, but open mics where people will get up and walk out, and there's only a couple people left by the time I get up, and of course I've gotten salty. I mean, you saw a video that I did where I was straight up almost an asshole when I got up on stage because I was pissed that a bunch of the comics left, and there was 3 of them sitting there when I got up there, and they were all in the back talking and all that. And at this point, I think that's one of the things I've improved on, is not letting that bother me as much. I'm not there for comics. I'm there to get better for me for when I get to a point where I can tell those jokes to real people.
Yeah, and there's a expectation, too, that you have to set when you get to an open mic now that I think we were better at, where before we're like, this is our show for the week. If this is to go well, I don't have anything else. Where now it can finally be used as the tool that it is for us, where it's like, oh, well, if there's I'm just trying to get this out into a microphone, get the timing down. Even if you guys are passively paying attention, if I get a chuckle, I'll know that's kind of where I need to emphasize the punchline. That's key. I feel like it's really easy to get to a thing where we're going like, I'm going to stay home and write, because writing is important. And it so fucking is, but you have to say the things out loud, and you can't say it in like your basement. You can't say it it's like I can't say it in my room over here. Like I have a microphone like to test on, and I thought, maybe I just say my set into that, and it's nice. It gets kind of you can go, here's the timing of my setup, but there's nothing like the energy of bouncing it off of a real person, getting a reaction, and then adjusting your set based on that reaction. It's 100% essential.
Yep. Yeah, I've written many things that I'm like, this is fucking gold. And then I go up and say it. And even if I get a couple chuckles, I go back and listen and go, that was horseshit. And I've completely put it aside to rework it. I think going to an open mic and saying it, like you said, to a person is definitely essential.
Yeah, so that's why, I'm gonna go micing in the past, technically now, a long time ago. You guys, this was already been so long ago since I've already done this. I killed, I think. Maybe. Hasn't happened yet. So I'm going to go do that this week. Get a couple in, because next week, and I'm going to host the Berlin class Monday. So go to that, and which is today, and go see that. Don't get me going. And
there'll be a lot of great people there.
There will be. Yeah, we're going to put it full of good people that night.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Jacques is going to be there. I think Lauren Sims is going.
Yep.
I believe Justin, I think he said, is going
Yep,
as well.
Justin's going. I'm gonna post.
A lot of fun people. Come
Yeah,
hang
I'm gonna
out.
post about it again. Try to get as many people as possible because that place is a like they have. For all you PA lovers, they have a Bose S1 Pro sound system stack over there ×2 because they did church there before, I think, or something like that. And boy, is that a beautiful sound system. And it was an old church, so they're acoustically great, and it has a stage. My point is, it's everything you want in an open mic as far as the ambiance to set up the whole thing, and it usually draws a pretty good crowd. And the guy that runs it books great shows, so come to the thing. Fucking please. So what else we got, Wayne? Put you on the spot.
I wanted to ask you, and I haven't run this by you, but not to turn this into like a, the Seavers fucking season finale flashback episode. Was that Growing Pains? The Seavers?
Wow, that's how. Yeah,
struggling
Jesus Christ, did you go deep with that
struggling for
reference? You're like, maybe this kind of thing. I don't know. There was George Washington Carver. I don't know all this fucking. Maybe this peanut butter. Like what?
But selfishly, we do this podcast for multiple reasons. For us, we do it for other people.
Masturbating.
There's so many reasons we do it, but there is a selfish reason to it as well. So I guess my question there for you is, what has been your favorite? What is your favorite part of doing this podcast?
You wanted to say perk. What's the favorite perk of doing the podcast?
No, not perk. I want to know for you, what is it? What keeps you coming to this?
It's so hot. I asked
week.
myself that tonight because it's so hot in my room. I didn't put an AC in here where I record, and I'm just like fucking dying. So that's the number one thing I love. Sweating my dick off for this podcast. No, so talking to people, the whole reason I started stand-up is because I didn't understand how they do it. And that bothers me. And if you know me personally, you know that I will get obsessively into a certain hobby that I don't understand how it works, and I will do it to the nth degree. Like, you were with me during my cooking phase when I just went, you know what, I'm going to learn how to cook, and I want to see how real chefs... I went to New York and went to a Michelin star restaurant. This is how lame I fucking am. Just to see, I was like, all right, let's see the Mecca. Let's see what the best is, how they do it, how do they make it, learn how they cook, all this kind of stuff. Now I can cook really good, but my point is I get obsessive. And so I did the same kind of thing when I got into comedy, where just like cooking, so bad in the beginning, so bad. Then you go, who's the best at it, and how did they get good at it? And I think this podcast gives us a really intriguing insight into people we would never be able to talk to for an hour about how they got good at what they're doing. And that selfishly gives me the insight to how they did it, and I put it towards it. Another Steve Bjork I know this isn't a podcast thing, but he would say it on the podcast, I imagine. He gave us great advice about the mentality that you should have hosting a show, where the mentality should be that, like, you are the star of the show and you brought great friends with you that are hilarious. And that's how you have to hold yourself as a host in order to make people not dislike you 25%. As you learned, Wayne hosted his first show. He learned the Anthony method. They like you about 20% less. You still do good.
They only liked me 10% less.
Yeah, maybe Wayne was about 10%.
They don't like me to begin with, so. But
yeah, they just hated him slightly more. But yeah, god damn it. But yeah, there's a way around that, and that's the point. So yeah, that's my favorite thing. What's your favorite thing?
Yeah, I'll second that. But I will say real quick, when we were talking about Steve Bjork the other night, that was one of my coolest moments doing comedy so far, was getting off stage. So as the host, you go up first, you introduce yourself, you do some time, bring up the first comic. And I said something, before I brought up the first comic, that as it came out, I was like, I shouldn't have said that, which was, are you ready for the real comics? And I gave, I think it was Leslie? I think it was Leslie. I gave Leslie her introduction. She came up, and I walked back, set my timer, And Steve looks at me and goes, "Hey, come here." And he tapped the seat next to him. And I was like, okay. So I went and sat next to him. He goes, "You did a really good job. Don't ever say, 'Are you ready for the real comics?' You are a real comic. You did a great job. Don't ever make yourself less." And I was like, that is the coolest fucking thing that's ever happened. You know, like having somebody is tenured like that give you like that little pep talk.
I know.
Whether he meant it or not, he seems sincere, but whether he meant it or not, that was one of the coolest things that's happened to me so far.
It feels so weird and good to know that I will never do that for a person. I will be like, hey, you know when you said that the real comics are coming? You were correct, and you should learn how to say drink specials because that's gonna be your job.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you did great.
But in terms of the podcast, I have a few things that I really enjoy. One, it's a reason to come hang out with you. It sounds cheesy, but we get to
God,
chat.
do I want to say a G word that you're not supposed to say? Go ahead.
Tell me I'm wrong, though. We get, not just the time on the podcast, but we chat before and after.
Yeah, no, it's not wrong. You were just born that way.
But, we get that time to, it's like, yeah, how often do you make time to call your friend and talk? Like, this is that for me.
Mm-hmm. No, those people are all dead who used to do that. People are all gone.
But, yeah, taking that away, I feel very fortunate to be able to talk to the people that we've talked to. Like, similar to what you said, but I described it to somebody today, where it's like, some of these people that we talk to, I'm not, I don't even feel like Ed Driscoll or Dobie Maxwell or, whoever, like some of these other people around, Amy T. What are the chances that I could just message one of those people and say, "Hey, can I call you for an hour?" And they're going to go, "Yeah, okay."
Dobie would do it for you.
They
Yeah,
might.
Dobie would definitely do that for you. He's such a fucking
Dobie would definitely do
angel.
it. But I'm sure they all at some point would go, "Yeah, I'm sure I can make time for you."
No, they
But
wouldn't. Oh my
now-
God. Try that. Hey,
now they-
strangers. Try that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Now,
Try that with me.
now, after we had talked, we have a little bit of a
Yes,
rapport
yes,
with these
rapport,
people.
yeah.
Before that would never happen. But because we have this, we're able to talk for an hour, sometimes more, with these people that have lived incredible lives, done incredible things with people that are, bigger than life to us, the Seinfelds and, whatever of the world. And we get to talk to them about that. It's fucking insane to me.
That was almost a good sentence. So close.
But yeah, that's my selfish thing that I loved so much. The other thing, the selflessness part, is I get quite a few messages from people out there that listen and tell me how much listening to us helps them through their open mic journey or their comedy journey, and which I think is, that's the reason we started this to begin with, and that is, I think that trumps all, having these people reach out and just be like, "Hey, thank you."
Yes.
Sometimes it goes no further than that, but it's just a, "Hey, thank you." You helped me, yeah, and that's really cool.
Yeah. Send them to Wayne. Wayne loves that stuff. It makes him so goddamn happy. I want you to fail. I started this to show you how to fail because it makes me happy to see. All right. If you watch, there's two different people that watch NASCAR. There are the people that watch NASCAR that are like, when they drift and they hit on a side, they're always Southern. That's why I'm doing it like this. They always drift on a side turn and they hit and they go on the drift line and they're in the tube. And they know NASCAR, and that's fine. Those people are lame, but fine. And then there's the me's of the world who watch NASCAR and go crash, 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 crash. And then they crash and go, ah! And everybody in there sees the tires flying and they get excited. So when you're on stage, that's what I'm thinking. No, I'm just kidding. Succeed.
Yeah. That's all I have in my head.
Man, no, sorry. When you get too sappy, I have to inject nihilism into the conversation. You can't be so thankful or else I get uncomfortable. I don't know why. They should be just a good thing. This my wife says all the time. She always says that I ruin moments because like she'll be like, look at this beautiful sunset, and I'm like, the beavers come out of their tail. I don't know, something weird to just ruin everything.
You feel like your son's gonna walk with you. Thanks for this cookie, Papa, and you're gonna crush it and just drop it on the plate. Don't be thankful, you little bitch.
Take the cookie and get out of the room. Don't be a sap. No. You're right. There are people who have said nice things, and it warms my cold heart. Slightly. Still 0 degrees Celsius, but it's something. Which isn't that cold. See? I think 0 Fahrenheit. I don't know. Don't get me into math right now. It's not even, don't get me into sciences.
Isn't 0 Celsius freezing?
Yeah. So it.
So that's negative. That's 32 degrees Fahrenheit.
Exactly. So where I was going was right.
We're in New England. That's not cold.
Exactly. You know what's crazy? So right now, whatever 90-something degrees, that paralyzes Europe. Did you know that? Did you know that would paralyze Europe?
I did. Yeah, because like England doesn't have ACs or anything like
ACs.
that. Why?
I don't know.
That's why they lost the Revolutionary War.
It's true. That's why Airbnb's stupid in England. If you do that, everybody's like, well, it's slightly cheaper. And you're like, yeah, you don't get an AC. You live in a fucking house built in the 1200s where the person inside, like, had the bubonic plague. Next generation had fucking rickets. Next generation had goddamn COVID. And then now. That's where you're living in. Where they do have hotels.
Why don't they use ACs?
Because it pretty actually sweet about England too, and European areas. They stay. That doesn't really get that hot that often. It's not like here where it just fucking gets every July. You're like, this sucks to be here.
Isn't England like slightly higher? Look at it, slightly higher than us, right? On the longitude.
Yeah, slightly higher, but just wherever they are, it like the winters are super mild. They don't get much snow. Summers are mild in the sense of
it's just always gray.
It just always rains. Yeah, if you're going there for a week, it's gonna rain 3 days out of it. I know a lot about England. I go there a lot. I want to do stand up there. That's the goal because we're gonna talk about goals, right?
How do you think that would go over?
Horrible.
Because we talked. We talked to Nathan last week about just being in the United States and going different areas, and like maybe subway jokes not working in because they don't have subways. But how do you think that would work over here? Over there, right?
Oh my god! Imagine my California sober bit over there. They'd be like, "What the fuck are you?"
Like, "What's a California?"
Exactly. No, they're surprisingly.
What's sober?
Yep. Yeah, they'd be really pissed. They'd be like, "Yankee, wanker." Yeah, we are very ignorant about everything else in the world. And they are really not ignorant. Meaning, if you go to England, they know most of our states. They know the major places. They know a lot of.
Why wouldn't they though?
Because we're so awesome. You mean that's an ignorance. That's what we have.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, I guess that's where I was going with that. But I feel like everybody knows about the United States and not
England.
Awesome.
You mean the fucking like you don't know shit about England. You in comparison to what England is.
I watch a lot of those King's Guard videos where the horse bites the people and they go, "Don't touch the King's Guard."
Yeah, do you know how?
Do you know
how the structure of English government works? Meaning,
poorly,
who runs
because
it?
They lost us.
Yeah, poorly. That's for sure.
It's not the king. It was some sort of parliament or something, right?
Well, the parliament makes the laws, but overarching is a prime minister who has weekly audience with the king. Yeah, and
Boris Johnson.
Nope.
The Gary Busey-looking motherfucker.
Well, yeah, they got it. He was a long time ago, this Boris Johnson, but yes, he does look like fucking. He looks like Gary Busey found in a river 4 days later. Like that's what they got. Gray skin and all that. And he's like, Brexit.
Dude, the guy fucking runs a country. He can't find a comb.
Can't. You know what's amazing though? He looks like such a slob, but he goes to the mic and he's like, well, and you're like, oh well, goddamn, our slobs are slobby. Like if you. Trump goes up to the mic and he's like, your mother's a fucking whore. And like his output matches his face. Like it's perfect. But yeah, the English they talk. I thought there'd be a lot more dumbass English people, meaning when you go to London, like they'd be like, "Oh, hello, mate," like fucking idiots that are those. They're mostly better than us. Weirdly, like a lot of them are the soft spoken. They call it, I guess, like a posh accent. I think is what they call it, or whatever. Where it's like they just sound better than us. Every word, every single word.
Oh, I love it. I love the British accent.
It's good. Well, some of them, like I said, you get a Cockney in there when the girl's like, "Oi, oi, your penis, oi," and you're like, "God damn, girl, you sound disgusting."
What do you think the Hocktua girl would sound like if she had a British accent instead of Tennessee?
Hocktua. You just gotta draw it out a little bit more.
Would it be Hock T?
No, you'd probably want a Cockney accent there. Actually, that would be a perfect Cockney. She'd be like, "Hocktua, boy."
There's a lot of Cockney with that one.
There's a lot of, exactly, in the back of your throat. Yeah, she, that lady, yeah, she's taking over the United States right now with her beautiful message to the world. It sucks, because there used to be a time, think about this, this is really depressing, but it's true. Like, we laugh about it because it's funny, but in the 50s, they were like heroes that we worshipped, that were like really stood for our values, and most of them, like Eisenhower and all that stuff, like generals and shit like that, and they were like fighting wars, and they were warning us about the military-industrial complex. And now, the number one thing that's going to unite the United States is a girl that's like, "Hawk two on a penis." Sad. Are you frozen? Wayne's frozen. God damn it. This is what you get when you have internet in the basement. You get frozen. I see it just face dumb sitting on the corner over there in the bottom left of it. I'm in the bottom left quadrant too, but he's in the bottom left quadrant of the crosshairs. Not even going to shoot him. Not even going to be able to hit him because he's not in the center. But see, my crosshairs is going to hit me right in the back of the head. And there he is. There's that dumb asshole. You back? Up. Now you got nothing. Wayne's gone again. See this, folks? This is why you don't do a podcast for a year. I tried. This is the last one I'm doing. When he edits this, he will see it. This is fucking over. Another thing that I wanted to talk about, since Wayne's going to be off trying to figure out how the internet works, is I want to set goals for the next year of this podcast. And who I want to have on this podcast for my goal for the year is probably going to be Dane Cook, because Wayne keeps harassing him. Are you back now, Wayne? Nope, there he goes. He's gone again. Every time the screen, like, he's there, and like I can see him, and then when he talks, it goes completely frozen. Because the microphone knows what he's about to say is uninteresting and it's killing itself. So we got to make sure that the microphone has the ability to survive here. But yes, we're trying to get someone like Dane Cook on. That'd be cool, because he said once in a group, like a live Facebook Live thing, and Wayne put his comment underneath it, and he's like, "Please come on, please, I'll suck your dick." And Dane Cook was like, "Yeah, let me know." So we're going to keep messaging him. By we, I mean Wayne. And if we get him on, we will ask him what sexual favors he would need in order for us to get booked by him. Can't imagine it would be much. Probably wouldn't have to do that much. I assume that most likely we won't get him, in which case we will keep interviewing all of our friends. But we want to make it more conversational style, too. I think that's a big goal for the podcast going forward, where we have more crazy conversations that go tangents to nowhere that we'd love to have. And last time, I'm pretty sure that Wayne is in now. You back, buddy?
Yeah, I don't know that it's recording you, but I don't know what's going on. It keeps kicking me out every few seconds after we get in for some reason. But we seem to be good now, so.
Damn. Well, let's, let me see.
Maybe Russia's using an EMP on us. I can't hear you now. But here I am by myself.
Hear me?
I can hear you. I know exactly where we left off.
Okay.
I can make this work.
Remember this?
Do you remember that?
Edit.
You were saying we used to have like Eisenhower's and I think you said Goebbels. You might have said Goebbels, which was fucking weird. That was Nazi. You fuck.
Goebbels? No, I don't know who that is.
Goebbels? Goebbels. Yeah, I'm just kidding. But we have fucking Hawk Tour Girl and Karen Reed, which I drove through the Karen Reed thing today.
Oh, yeah, did you?
I had to go down to Dedham, and I drove right past the courthouse, and dude, there were people, the pink shirts, the wigs. I was sitting in traffic with my window down, and there was an old man in a blonde wig and a pink tank top, and this guy walks up to him and goes, "You're a hero, dude. You're a hero." And I'm like, he's not a hero.
That's the world we're in, though.
I don't know anything about the Karen Reed case, nor do I care to find out.
It's
But
wild. Oh, they're going to make so many documentaries about it. It's fucking crazy. Lots of corruption. And, like, it's just the world of... right now, I feel like we're lying so much more carefree. Like, that case is all about... It's really obvious that the police covered up something. And they keep lying about it, obviously. And that's why it's such a big case and it's going to be a whole thing. Because they're just like, nuh-uh. So, like, basically, like, a guy died. And the police were meant to have found him the next day and say that the girl backed into him or whatever. And they have, like, call logs between the officers who apparently got hammered and this guy died with. Voicemails at, like, 2 a.m. with each other. And all kinds of conversations between all of them in the middle of the night. And their excuse is that they were having sex with their wives simultaneously and accidentally hit their phone on called each other and butt dialed each other, like, while banging their wife, because that's why it was so late, because they were banging their wife.
was the phone, like, in their cheeks?
So this is the thing. Everybody's like, that's not true. It's more obvious you guys were fucking around with this. But it's like a huge thing because it sounds like they did. They killed the guy and covered it up and blamed a lady.
I was talking to a customer of mine, and he was saying that, like, one of the cops' wives was Googling how long to die in the snow or something like that.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Stuff like that. All of that is coming out, and they're like, she just wanted to know.
Curious at 2:30. I mean, it's cold
it was
outside.
Snowy.
Like,
I wanted to know.
You know, there's homeless people out there. I don't know. It's snowy.
I have kids. I think about killing myself every day.
I woke up.
Yeah, that's a crazy one. But yeah, I mean, we've always worshipped false idols and all that kind of crap and looked into bad things in society. But I just feel like a long time ago that we appreciated ideals. And now I think we appreciate clout. And I hate that. And I don't know why I'm talking about it. This is uninteresting. It's so silly. Elden Ring. No. Crash. Crashing off the podcast. That's what I get for doing that fucking volcano back. But, you know, alas, that's what we're here for. So, also, so I rambled for a while that I don't think was recorded. But I think the last thing I want to talk about, if you're cool with it, are our podcast goals for the next year. Maybe we'll throw comedy goals in there too, but specifically podcasts. What are you trying to get done?
That's a really good question. You know, I feel like I think we've hit some of the goals that I had in mind, which I'm not going to necessarily say, but I would like to see it take off a little more. I think, you know, we do pretty well numbers wise. For what it is.
That's a good qualifier.
But I would like... What's that?
That's a good qualifier. You're like, that. It's like saying, like, listen, that raccoon has fantastic sex for what it is. It's a raccoon. So you don't expect, like, it's rabbit and it'll bite you. But, our numbers are good for a dead raccoon. We have great numbers.
No, our numbers are pretty good. We're a year in. I don't know what we're expecting, but
love you. You're an optimist.
I would like to figure out what that next step is, and you know, we've talked about doing different things with the podcast, like maybe doing a showcase, like a live podcast with some of the previous guests, and then doing a showcase afterwards. Or we've talked about other things.
Yeah, we are going to be booking shows.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe something like that would be fun to do. You know, we've talked with. Well, I won't say that because that might not come to fruition. But we've talked to other people about doing different things with the podcast as well. But I mean, honestly, if we can just keep booking the quality of guests that we have, I think I would be pretty happy. We've talked to so many incredible people, funny people.
We gotta get one big fish though. You gotta get Dan Cook. I was saying that. I don't think it's gonna come through, but
fucking trying.
Wayne went on a Facebook Live and said, like, what hole do you want to come on our podcast? I'll give you the hole. And Dane Cook said, Jesus Christ, not gonna fucking do that with you, sir, but I might come on your podcast. And so now Wayne's been harassing him since, of course, sending him pictures of his asshole and all that stuff.
This will be a call to arms. I've said it before, but I mean it this time. Most of you guys aren't pressing like on the YouTube video. I see that.
Ugh.
Take an extra second.
Don't like it now.
Yeah, don't like it now. But take that second that you would do to click that and go on Dane Cook's TikTok and just message. You should go on Open Mic Pain. If he gets enough, he'll do it.
All right, my turn.
This is for you guys.
Don't like this video anymore. If you can take away the view that you gave us, take it away, because we don't deserve it after that pandering. You should unsubscribe if you subscribed and tell us to go fuck ourselves in the comments. Because that's what you get when you say stuff like that, you little weasel. Don't do that.
You weasel.
You weasel.
What are you, from 1923?
It's a weasel is a perfect insult because it's just a little fucking like, like if a weasel came in a room in a suit of armor, you'd still laugh. Like, it's just not fucking dangerous. And that's what you are. You're a bitch. Don't do that.
So what would you like to see for the podcast in the coming
less
years?
Subscribers, less views.
Less weasels.
Less fucking weasels. No, I just, every time I start a video on YouTube and the person's like, make sure you smash that like button, I want to fucking go to their house and smash their face. It's such a dumb thing to say. Like, imagine if you were watching The Sopranos, and in every scene in the beginning of the episode, right, Tony would come out and be like, hey, you know, like, you like this shit? Do you want to go and write a review? 5 stars real quick? Gabagool.
Turn on your Nielsen box.
Turn on your Nielsen box. Let them know. 18 to 25 is preferred. We need you. Yeah, no, they don't do that because it takes you out of it. So for us, what we need to do is get Dan Cook on. That's our goal. Get him on, Wayne. We need it. That is the only thing that's going to save us. Now, my goal for the podcast as well is to do, like you said, Open Mic Pain Productions. It's on our website now. You can see the idea behind it. We've been co-producing some shows, and now we're going to be stepping into the world of producing some shows. And anyways, we're putting together a thing that is based on the soul of our podcast, where we want to bring people who are in our position, in our level, and give them opportunities in front of real crowds, because that's the only way we're going to build our material properly and do all that kind of shit. So that is tied to the podcast to me, and my goal for the 1 year is that we not only do a live podcast, that'd be fucking sweet, but also we build that brand of our OMP Productions. So, or as Steve Bjork called, OMP Productions, which...
To be fair, he wasn't sure if it was OMP or OMP.
Yeah.
But there was no
OMP.
E, so he think it was OMP.
He thought it was OMP, yeah, that's true. He thought about it. He put the thought in.
He did. Yeah, I was going to do that as an aside, but yeah, you tying it into the podcast like that makes sense. That is exciting. I mean, you guys, if any of you are friends with us on Facebook, you've probably seen we have the banner. You know, this is something we've been talking about and planning for months. It's just kind of slowly coming to fruition, and we're at a point now where I think we're ready to take that next step. So we're
we wanted to come correct. If you're going to come, you should always come correct. And we, we wanted to make sure we had, proper marketing, spotlight, PA, backup stuff. We can do small venues, we can do large venues. We can do it if they have a PA. We can do it if they don't have a PA. So we wanted to make it so we're bulletproof on that regard. Because the one thing that, if you want to sign up for a show for a local place, a lot of the time in the beginning we're like, all of them. Who cares what they do? Let's just go on it. But as you get on, you realize that a well-produced show is key to the success of the show. Meaning, if you show up and they don't have a sound system that can do the venue, or you show up and there's no spotlight, and you have to keep the lights on in the restaurant because there's no spotlight, so the ambiance is wrong. People don't laugh. So we want to make fucking sure that we don't go there and go, well, if we had this, the show would be better. So when we do our show, it's going to be ready to go. No beginning episodes of Open Mic Pain where we had no background and it looked like shit for like 2 months. It's all going to be good right away.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be a lot of fun.
So yeah, I think we talked about it all. Why don't we mercy kill this episode?
Mercy kill.
Listen, I know some people have been listening to this the whole time, and we thank you so much for doing that. This is the sappiest you're going to get from me. It's goddamn it, do we goddamn appreciate you, because we thought we'd say this to 0 people, and we basically do, but it's only basically 0. So the non-basically, you basic bitches out there, I love you. You guys are making this such a fun thing. I am proud to do it with Wayne, and I'm proud to show the steps that no one else has shown in documentaries, which is how do you start comedy? How do you actually physically do it? And if you watch the show and you followed the podcast, you know exactly how to. Could go anywhere in the world and use the material that we've put out there, and I think you can start being a comedian. And it's not like a class thing where you're going to hear hacky shit that you're never going to be able to use. We do it and then tell you it fails, so you know not to do it. Or we do it and we succeed in an area, and that's the path to travel down. So yeah, all around to say that this is a worthy step for the quest for laughs, you motherfuckers, isn't it, Wayne?
Sure is. It's the worthiest.
Worthiest
of steps.
He wanted to end the sentence properly, and he crashed it off a cliff. We couldn't end it any better. Good night, everybody. Imagine my California sober bit over there. They'd be like, "What the fuck are you?"
Like, "What's a California?"
Exactly. No, they're surprisingly.
What's sober?
Yep. Yeah, they'd be really pissed. They'd be like, "Yankee, wanker."